5. The real fight against corruption. Corruption is not merely a political disease. It is a spiritual one. It does not begin in the halls of power, but in the quiet choices of everyday life. When we decide to look away, to stay silent, or to justify the smallest wrong, because everyone does it. Before corruption drains a nation's coffers, it first poisons its conscience. It seeps into hearts when truth becomes inconvenient, and when God is slowly erased from our moral vocabulary. When conscience dies, even the most brilliant minds become dangerous. No system, no policy, no reform can truly cure corruption unless hearts are reformed first. For corruption is not just about stolen money. It is about a stolen soul. It is when one's allegiance shifts from God to greed, from service to self-interest. The tragedy is that we often think corruption belongs only to politicians or the powerful. Yet it begins when a student cheats on an exam, when a worker cuts corners, when a citizen pays a bribe to make things faster. These small compromises, multiplied by millions, create the very system we later condemn. Faith becomes the antidote, not a blind religiosity, but a living faith that shapes choices. A faith that remembers every action, however small, is seen by a God who cannot be bribed. When a person acts with integrity even when no one is watching, corruption loses ground. When parents teach honesty at home, when teachers model fairness, when businessmen pay their taxes without deceit, the fight is won before it even reaches the courtroom. The real fight against corruption is not waged by prosecutors or politicians alone. It is fought daily in the unseen battleground of the heart, in every man and woman who chooses truth over convenience, sacrifice over gain, and God over greed. That is where true reform begins, not with new laws, but with renewed souls. 6. A prayer for the Philippines, Lord. Our nation is tired. We have seen too much dishonesty, too many promises broken, too many dreams betrayed. We are wounded, not only by poverty and corruption, but by the slow erosion of faith and trust in one another. Yet in this darkness, we turn to you, our one true light. We lift to you, O God, our beloved Philippines, its islands and cities, its farmers and workers, its teachers, soldiers, and children. Heal the divisions that have hardened our hearts. Forgive the arrogance of those in power and the apathy of those who have lost hope. Teach us once again that true greatness is not found in wealth or position, but in service and sacrifice. Raise for us leaders with clean hands and brave hearts, leaders who fear no one but you and who will govern not for profit but for love of people. Let integrity be our standard, and compassion our law. May truth find its way back into our institutions, and justice no longer be for sale. Renew our families, Lord. Let every home become a school of honesty, kindness, and faith. May parents pass on not riches, but righteousness. May children grow not in resentment, but in responsibility. Bless our land, our seas, and the work of our hands. Protect our overseas workers who carry our nation's name across distant shores. Let their sacrifices not be in vain, and may they return to a country worthy of their love. Finally, Lord, make every Filipino a guardian of light in this time of moral fog. Let our small acts of honesty and compassion become sparks that ignite the fire of renewal. We surrender our nation to you, not in despair, but in trust. Because we believe that even in ruins, you can rebuild. Even in corruption, you can call forth saints. And even in darkness, you can make your light shine again. Amen. 7. Bridge reflection. From nation to home. where renewal truly begins. Every nation is built on homes. Every reform that lasts begins not in Congress halls or campaign rallies, but around kitchen tables and quiet bedrooms where love learns to stay. We often pray for our country to change, for leaders to act justly, for systems to be clean, for society to heal. Yet the soul of a nation is nothing more than the sum of its families. When truth is spoken kindly at home, honesty grows in public. When forgiveness begins between husband and wife, reconciliation can begin between tribes and towns. When children learn prayer before power, a country learns humility before pride. If we dream of a moral rebirth for the Philippines, it must start with our closest covenants. In the way we speak to our spouse, guide our children, treat our parents, and respect those who serve under us. The renewal of the Republic is not written only in laws. It is written daily in love. So before we rebuild the nation, let us rebuild the home. For the family is the first school of faith, the first temple of integrity, and the smallest yet most powerful unit of national grace.